The year 2020 has been most challenging for the whole of humanity as a result of havoc wreaked by the coronavirus on lives, livelihoods, global and national economies, governance structure, health, social welfare, and other systems. It has consumed an inordinate amount of resources deployed to address it by countries of the world without abating. Sadly, the coronavirus pandemic has also taken the keep-taking precious lives of our loved ones, leaving several homes, families, and associates to mourn. May the Almighty God grant all those that have lost their lives to this deadly virus eternal rest. Over the last 9 months, I received a total of 8 interim reports along with 1 mid-term report, apprising me progressively of developments on the corona pandemic from the Presidential Task Force. I similarly approved several far-reaching measures recommended to support the achievement of the objectives of our national response. I have been in constant touch about the pandemic in all corners of our country. Let me also add that I have religiously followed the daily national briefing by the PTF, which has become the platform for communicating with Nigerians and the most authentic source of information, which substantially reduces the space for fake news. The successes recorded by the PTF in managing the control of the pandemic since March 2020 are largely attributable to the multi-sectoral approach adopted by the government, the proactive steps taken, and the commitment of its members. I wish to acknowledge the immeasurable support received from the National Assembly, state governments, the private sector coalition, the international community, development partners, well-meaning Nigerians who donated in cash and kind and also made sacrifices, the media organizations, security agencies, and the frontline workers who toiled day and night as our last line of defense. The list is endless. Our gratitude is endless. On behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, I thank you one and all for your support and contributions to this national response to a global emergency. The impact of the coronavirus on global and national economies cannot even now be fully assessed. No nation of the world has been spared the experience of different degrees of economic downturn as several countries, including Nigeria, went into negative growth territories. To mitigate this impact, we developed an economic sustainability plan aimed at cushioning the impact at all levels and stabilizing our economy. Family businesses, small and medium-scale enterprises, and the manufacturing sector were all supported through various windows. Appropriate support has also been provided through the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program as well as the trader and market money loans. For the very vulnerable, significant steps taken include A. Expansion of the National Social Register to 3.6 million beneficiaries across 36 states. B. Support provided to 8,827,129 households through the 70,000 metric tons food grains released from the strategic reserve. And C. Support to 1,289,405 vulnerable households that benefited from the conditional cash transfers across 34 states. The pandemic also revealed the vulnerabilities in our health system, which compelled our determination to ensure that its support is given top priority in terms of infrastructure, human and institutional capacities, legislative support, etc. It must be emphasized that this administration recognizes that an effective and efficient health sector represents a significant component of our security and economic strategy. It is in this regard that I am pleased to note the legacy movements made in the health sector excuse me, in the areas of laboratory infrastructure, treatment centers, training of healthcare personnel, improvement in surveillance and food health capabilities, etc. I must again single out and thank those private entrepreneurs who sourced and installed impressive healthcare facilities in some strategic places as their contribution to this national emergency. There is still more work to be done in the health sector to help us cater for our citizens and minimize the drain on our foreign exchange and train manpower through medical tourism. For Nigeria to enjoy a lasting legacy from the huge investment in the health sector, a comprehensive health sector reform that will achieve the following among others must be instituted. The objectives include A. Build the human and institutional capacity to provide a world-class 21st century healthcare system capable of responding effectively to future pandemics. B. Develop a viable strategy for our primary and tertiary healthcare system. C. Realign institutional mandates and functions within the health sector for effectiveness and efficiency. D. Distinguish policy and coordination for implementation responsibilities. And E. Strengthen the statutory and regulatory capacity within the health sector. Recent reports reaching me indicate that Nigeria is now facing a rise in confirmed coronavirus cases nationwide, which is similar to the second wave of infections occurring in other countries across the world. New epicenters have been identified, and the nation cannot afford to lose the gains of the last 9 months. I have critically evaluated the situation and remain convinced that urgent measures have to be taken to hold the spread and the attendant fatalities. Closely associated with the foregoing is the need to speedily and strategically access and administer the coronavirus vaccine in a safe, effective, and timely manner. This is an important obligation that we owe Nigerians as we go into the year 2021, and it must be carried out through an efficient machinery. Accordingly, I have authorized the following measures for implementation. A, the extension of the mandate of the PTF for a further period till the end of March 2021, bearing in mind the new surge in the number of cases and the bid for vaccines. B, that the PTF should coordinate the process for planning and the strategy for assessing, delivery, and administration of the vaccines using the existing health structures that have worked in the past in vaccine administration. C, authorize the PTF to engage with the states for them to assume full ownership of this state of response by developing legal structures and resources, including enforcement, to manage the pandemic within their jurisdictions. Details of the advisory measures have already been announced. And D, authorize the PTF and the Nigerian Immigration Service to ensure that all inbound passengers who failed to show up for post-arrival coronavirus tests are sanctioned within the ambit of the law for breaching the public health protocols. The nation is clearly in a perilous situation given the virulent nature of this second wave, and we must act decisively to protect our people. I therefore urge all subnational entities, traditional rulers, religious and leaders of thought to collaborate with the PTF by taking up the responsibility for risk communication and community engagement at all levels. Now is the time for collective efforts to be intensified. As this festive season approaches, I urge all Nigerians to remain vigilant and stay safe. Non-essential trips and large social gatherings should be avoided or shelved completely. I thank you all for your commitment, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.